Admiral Nelson is on board his flagship, the Victory, and there's a cry from the crow's nest. 2 froggy French ships on a starboard bow. So Nelson says to Hardy, Hardy says, go and get my... Admiral Nelson is on board his flagship, the Victory, and there's a cry from the crow's nest. 2 froggy French ships on a starboard bow. So Nelson says to Hardy, Hardy says, go and get my red dinner jacket, will you please? So Hardy says, well, won't that sort of stick out like a sore thumb? He said, no. He said, we're outnumbered by those 2 ships, he said, and French snipers on board those ships they know where I am, he said, and if I'm shot, he said, the men won't see the blood stains, and I will try and act as if, everything's okay. And he said, that will give them the will to carry on fighting. He said, oh, okay. So Hardy runs off, comes back with his red jacket. Anyway, a few moments later, cry from the crow's nest again. 40 French ships on the starboard bow. Nelson turns around and says to Hardy, Hardy says, go and get my brown corduroy trousers, will you please? Good evening.
Even Sabre approved of
that. Well, tonight we've got Dev back again. Hello, Dev. Hello. Welcome back. It's great, isn't it, to have you back? And she's got the Prime Minister of Fockham in her hands there.
I have. Look at that face.
Yes. Well, actually, he's got 2 names. He's got the official name, which is Roger Ring, and of course the unofficial name, which is, I've forgotten it. You told me. Sabre.
Yes.
See? So, he's got a pseudonym name. So it's Roger Ring the cat.
I don't know what we'll call his sister, but never mind. We'll find something.
Because he likes to be called Roger Ring the cat, because lots of ambassadors and MPs like Roger Ring the cat. That's right. Yes. Nothing rude there, is there?
Very fitting.
Yes, I don't know why people laugh at that. It's strange, isn't it?
It is very.
Well, first of all, we're also live on Soapbox Radio. So that's a new one. So hang on, is it being recorded? I'll have a quick look. Yes, it's being recorded. That's good. That's good. Where am I? I've lost myself. That's it. All these buttons here I've got to press now, because Paul English taught me how to use this mixing box thing, and I'm getting all up. I'm coming out all unnecessary. Well, we've got a lot of nice. We've got a lot of nice people in chat, and also those of us, and I'd like to say hello to all the people that went to this thing in Suffolk. I've got to be careful what I say, because apparently YouTube have banned what we went to see. Now, it's nothing rude. It's it's to do with growing plants using things. Nothing rude. It's copper and galvanized wire, and the fertilizer industry has got a lot to lose if this takes on, because you don't need fertilizer, and of course that's why you're banned on YouTube by saying these things. So it was very interesting. It was in a field, seeing I saw huge marrows that have been grown by the bowler hat farmer, and I met who else did I meet there? I saw Dawn Lester, Joe, who's been on the show, and also Richard Vobes. I spoke to him, and he's a bit richer now because I gave him some fock bobs.
Oh, he'll be a millionaire now.
That's right. So I just do what the government does. I just print them off.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm rolling in it, you know.
Yeah.
He said, "What can you buy with it?" Well, I don't think he said. Somebody else said, "What can you buy with these?" I said, "For nothing much."
Yeah.
He's
You
gonna,
were
I was
just
going to say
having
F
one.
hole, yeah. But now I'm just going to have a look in chat. Oh, we got a big lineup in chat, and we've got Stig from New Zealand.
We have. Morning, Stig.
Morning, Stig. Yes. It's a funny morning here, isn't it? No, it's evening. We've got Louise as well. Hello,
We
everyone.
have.
Yes, we've got a nice big turnout tonight.
Thank
It's
you.
building up, and please don't take the Admiral Nelson joke too seriously. don't contact historians and say that's historically incorrect, isn't it? No, it isn't.
Yeah, it didn't really happen. Chris made it
No,
up.
well, it might have done. You never
Well,
know.
much, yeah. I think brown was the in colour in those days, anyway.
Yes, yes. Well, you had those white trousers, didn't they, that they wore? Which
Oh yeah, yeah,
was a bit nervous. That would have been a bit of a problem, wouldn't it? You know.
definitely.
Oh, that's why they had a big towel at the back, wasn't it? That was it.
Tailcoat covered it up.
Yes, we've got Aunt Sally. Anyway, tonight we're going to talk about creepy things. We're not going to talk about Keir Starmer, are we? And
Nah.
Tony Blair.
No, just creepy things. It came to me. I was talking to someone about hearing things that aren't actually there. So I thought I've had quite a few instances of that.
So have I.
Just the main one was the night before I found my mum. I was at work and there was only me around. Everybody else had gone to bed. I was on a sleepover. And she was on my mind because I hadn't heard from her for a few days. And I'm in the kitchen, and if anybody had have come into the dining room from the lounge or the hallway, the door noises were really distinctive. They were loud because they slammed on the way shut. So I knew I was on my own. There was nobody about. It was really quiet, and I was wiping down, ready to lock up. And my voice was shouted really loudly, but in a Deborah, like to get my attention. And I spun round and there was nobody there. And I actually checked the whole of the downstairs and there was nobody up. And I thought, is it something that to get your attention? I've had it before as well. And I haven't thought about it at the time, but I've thought afterwards, did somebody shout my name to stop me doing something? Or like to stop me in my tracks and for some particular reason? I mean, I know there's the obvious things out there. I mean, I've heard of people say the name's been called and they've turned round, moved out of the way, and a car's gone past and would have hit them if they hadn't moved. I've heard that kind of thing, but it makes me wonder if it's just little things that you don't notice why somebody's calling your name. I don't know. It's odd. But
It's really weird. That is weird. But I mean, there was a case. I was talking to Mark Windows once, and you could look at it anyway. And there was a crow outside where he lived that just wouldn't leave the door open, and it was like Mark, 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 Mark. You're shouting.
yeah,
He recorded it.
that's bizarre.
Yeah, that is bizarre. But voices in the head. It's sort of.
It's more like it's not in your head as much in that instance. It's more like somebody in the room that's shouting you, but there's nobody there.
And I guess you found your dear mother. That's
the morning after, yeah. So was it to get me attention? Like, Deborah, you need to. It was only my name that was shouted, but obviously it gave me enough pause to think there's something not quite right.
When my parents died, I dreamt a lot of them, as if they was in the room, and I wake up as if they're still alive.
Yeah, I think that's your brain still trying to accept the loss.
But no, they were talking to me. It was sort of mum, sort of, and my dad. It's very, very odd. But
yeah.
I've actually had these voices. I mean, not in a sort of a insane way, don't get me wrong, because I say if you've got voices in your head,
Yeah,
but
no.
sort of like your name being called. But the one I heard was when I was at school, and it wasn't so much voices in the head. It was she was Welsh. This teacher, very nice. She was. She was an English teacher, and I think it's the end of term. I think you can loosen up a little bit. Hello, we got a new person in chat. Cornish lad, very nice.
No, they were real.
Anyway, this teacher, she came from part of Wales which is very mountainous. I'm not sure it was a relative of hers, a brother, or somebody she knew. Used to drive home from work on a motorbike, and every day, because he got used to going around these hills, he went faster and faster and faster and faster. Because you get used to it. You go,
Yeah.
you know, it's like when you're a local, you get used to driving around, and they reckon the most accidents happen close to home.
Yeah.
Because you get overconfident. Anyway, on with the story. And as he's driving along, his motorbike slows down, and the handlebars turning, and with all his strength, he could not turn those handlebars to go straight. The bike would only go back. I think this is mad. And he tried again, and it still would not do it. And I think the motorbike stopped when he tried to go forward. But when he went the other way, it worked. So anyway, he had to go halfway around Will's mother's to get home. Sort of, the long route round. Next day, you found out there'd been a landslide, a rockfall on this mountain pass that he was going along, and he would have been killed. He'd gone smack into it if he'd gone around this corner. So there was a guardian angel.
Most definitely, yeah.
Yes.
It's like as well. I've had instances of I can only recall 3 times I've done that. Am I going to drop asleep, or am I going to have to sit up and sort my pillows out? And you kind of drop to that stage where you're not asleep, you're not awake.
I know what you mean.
And there's a clear conversation. The only one that I properly remember, the voices were as clear as a bell, and it was like a man and a woman were stood next to the bed having a conversation, and I should have known the language, and I didn't recognise it as English, and they were speaking perfectly clearly, and I kept thinking, it's going to click in a minute, I'm going to understand what they're saying. And then I heard either him or her say, it's all right, she doesn't understand, or something along those lines. And I'm like, and then when I was aware of that's what they'd said, that I kind of snapped out of it. But is that because between awake and sleep, we drop through frequencies? So maybe we're picking up on, but it was just like they were stood at the side of the bed.
Well, I've actually had, really?
Yeah. It was so clear.
I've actually had where you can hear, it's like, what's a party, but a get together of voices in the distance. When you're in that what they call alpha state, I think it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And you can't work out what's being said, but it's like a crowd of people going, but you can't work it out, as if they're in the next room.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Dulled.
That's right. And the other one is something coming into the room and sitting on your legs.
Yeah.
And then
I've had that a few times, yeah.
And you're terrified.
Yeah, that is not good.
What we did have is the thing called the hum. Have you heard of that?
I have heard of the hum, the Bristol hum I've heard of.
Well, there was one around here. When my dad died.
In other areas.
Before my dad died, I think it was, not after. When he was sort of in the hospital and howling, there was this woo. And was it Stephen Treesick says, I've had all sorts happen. I've forgotten half of it.
Yeah. I think we do. We sort of pass it off and don't give much thought.
Well, do you know when you get an old piston engine plane going through low cloud, and you get that sort of sound? So I was laying in bed and I thought, oh, well, what's that plane would go? And it went on and on and on. And eventually I dropped off to sleep. But there was a famous one years ago, and it moved right the way down from Cambridgeshire, came down the A10, this noise, people plotted it across, and it ended up in Kent, at Canterbury.
Yeah.
And I woke up one night, because I used to have an old fridge, which used to sort of make a funny noise.
Oh, God, yeah, I remember the old fridges.
And I sort of, I go this, I thought, oh, bloody hell, the fridge has gone wrong or something. So I got up, Went downstairs, and there's this. It's all around. Ooh, no, everything was okay. What is it? So eventually, I opened the front door, looked out to see my neighbour, sort of not quite opposite, doing exactly the same, sort of looking
Yeah.
round. Closed the door, came back. It's driving me up the wall.
Yeah.
And it was in the newspapers that it's actually, and it moved after a while, and people were hearing it further. And it, as I say, it went through London. And I wrote an article about it. I used to do like a magazine, and someone said they lived in South London at that time, and they saw these strange people waiting at a bus stop, and there's these strange bubbles. Now, bubbles normally pop after a while,
Yeah.
but no, they didn't. And they stopped, moved along a bit, stopped, and then sort of as if they were guided by something, and people could hear that noise.
That's weird.
Very weird, you know.
That's quite creepy.
But oh, this is an interesting one. Stephen Truth Seeker said, though, isn't it?
There's two different homes. One is from the underground bases, and the other is directed energy weapon. I've had both. Could be a third one, UFOs. It's quite true, actually. Yeah. I had just going on about hums and planes and things. A few years ago, I'd gone to bed. I'm a night owl, so it'll have been about 1:30ish, and I was reading my Kindle, and we're on the flight path to Leeds Bradford Airport.
Yeah.
So they're not really near the house, but you watch them coming in, and you can hear them. And sometimes, if I'm recording for my videos, I have to stop recording because the noise is just too deafening. Anyway, I was laid in bed, and I looked at the clock, and I thought, oh, it's 2:00ish. I'll put my Kindle down. So I put my Kindle down, and I was laid looking at the clock, and it was 2 minutes past 2. And I heard a plane coming in, and I'm sort of laid listening to it, and I thought, that's not going past, it's coming towards the house. And I'm thinking, a plane shouldn't be coming towards the house. So I went to take the duvet off to get out of bed, and I was paralysed. And I laid there, and the noise was getting louder and louder, and then it stopped. And for 2 minutes outside my window, if I can find where I put it, it isn't there. I did a little mock-up really quickly today.
Hang on,
to
it's
show,
at the bottom. It's at the bottom next to the Nelson gag. You got it?
Yeah. I did a little mock-up today to show what I would have expected had I opened my curtains, and that's what I would have expected outside my bedroom window, because that's what it sounded like. It was like a jumbo jet engine hovering outside my window. And I laid there for, like I say, for 2 minutes, completely paralysed, watching the clock change, and then the noise drifted away, and I found I could jump out of bed, and there was absolutely nothing there. There was no noise of a plane landing at Leeds Bradford or taking off. Nothing. It had gone completely silent. So what the hell that was, I have no idea. But like I said, that's what I think I would have seen if I'd have opened the bedroom curtains. That's what I imagined.
Lots of people that's had encounters with UFOs reckon they've been paralysed. They sort of move. Because
somebody said, oh, you'll have been asleep. And I said, I was watching the clock. I just physically couldn't move. I was staring at the clock, and I'm like, it was 2 minutes past 2 when it started, and 2 minutes past 2 when it started, and 4 minutes past 2 when it finished. As the plane, as it moved away, whatever it was.
That's really weird.
Very weird.
I was actually, because I sleep at the front of the house, and I've got a bedroom sort of at the back of the house. And I was, it's this Sue Seaside. That's hi, was it?
Nice.
Hello, Sue.
You've got a note from your mum.
Yes, definitely. She's watching me from the top of the Blackpool Tower, apparently.
Superb.
That's an interesting one, isn't it? From Chris the Gardener. Do you want to read it, or shall I?
During the nonsense, I used to hear these weird clapping sounds outside in the street, usually on Thursdays around 8 p.m. I remember the strange clapping sounds, and a sound like a pan being hit by a wooden spoon. Did you ever hear that one?
Yes.
Yeah, that was an interesting time.
Oh yes.
Stephen's saying he's had something like that at 3 a.m.
It's always in the early hours.
But,
that sounds like you had some visitors.
Yeah, plane full of them.
I'll tell you what I had once. It was a nice summer's evening, and I was upstairs in my bedroom. And I could hear this, what the heck is that? Almost and oh dear, tut! Wonder what that is. And it's coming from the back of the house, which is south facing. You see. Now there was a time when, did you ever have that, where there was an obsession with ballooning and airships? Loads of
Oh
them coming
God, no.
across. Yeah, and I went to the back of the house, and to my shock, there's this basket full of people and a big, great hot air balloon heading right towards my bedroom window.
Nice.
The back. I thought, oh heck! And this bloke managed in his body doing the old hot air frantically. I thought, oh, wow. And he sort of went over the and I was sort of cringing, you know. It's a bit like standing on the Titanic and watching the iceberg approach, even though I don't believe in the
That's
iceberg, but you
funny.
know what I mean. But I was like, ah. But one landed in my neighbour's garden. My neighbour had a garden and a field, and they landed in the field, just giving me like cups of tea and that. Yeah,
That's a little bit strange.
yeah. But there was another time when we had these Goodyear airships coming
Oh,
over.
sorry, I've got a phobia about them.
They're like a giant turd in the air, aren't they?
Yeah.
So,
Honest to God, I used to work near Elland Road, and they used to use them to film the football matches. And I swear to God, I don't know how I got away from work at some points because I was staring at them to make sure they weren't going to fall out of the sky. Horrible. Oh God, no.
well, they're a funny mode of transport, aren't they? They really are.
Yeah.
Um,
Ever since I was a kid, though, I've been scared of inflatable things like that. Hot air balloons, I'm fine because it's not enclosed. But hovercrafts, God, my mum used to laugh at me. If an
really?
hovercraft appeared on telly, yeah, I'd just be, oh no, anything
I've been on
inflatable.
one several times. I went on the cross channel one, and it's like it's really bumpy, and it's like being in a rainstorm.
Yeah.
They see people. You see these people sort of going as if it's all sort of smooth and nice. It's not smooth.
No,
Well, it
neither are
wasn't.
catamarans. I've been on a
No,
catamaran and thought I was going to
really.
die. Yeah, they're
Oh.
supposed to slice through the water. They don't slice through the water at all. They go like that.
Mm, yes.
That was
Well,
not good.
there's people feeling seasick, and they go. And I thought I wouldn't like to have a car because they loaded cars on them as well.
Oh
And
no.
but it's a mystery because they sort of disappeared overnight, didn't they?
Yeah,
That
they
they
did,
was
yeah.
running them over, but you can't see anything because it's full of water and spray, and it's just
Yeah.
and it's a nice still day and sunny day, but it was like being in a car wash. You know, that's really what it's like.
Yeah. Oh, no,
If you
no.
want that experience, go in a car wash and get people to bounce your car up and down.
Yeah. You don't need to go on a hovercraft then.
But I don't think you can go on a hovercraft now. I don't think they've got any of those services left, have they? It should be
No, I don't
hover
know.
speed.
Did they bring them back briefly and then took them back off again? I'm sure they did. Hello, Hachi Hachi.
Oh, that's lovely. Bless you, Debs. I'm putting me cow horned handlebars on me push bike. Oh, and a side saddle for Bud's non-conductive leather. His own preference. He can't handle riding on a conductive saddle. Who's Bud's?
Is it Doggy?
Hmm.
I'm really sorry. I forgot to mention at the start I'm full of cold, but I may disappear to sneeze, cough, and blow my nose, but I'm still here.
Hang on. I bet, no, it's all right. You're okay. I better sanitize this microphone. You know.
You better do. I've had my honey and lemon fix.
Lovely.
Except the lemon was a bit bitter.
Yes, as I advised Deb, the bicarbonate of soda trick with colds and that is okay, but the two side effects are pretty unpleasant.
Yeah.
And because I know somebody, you see, put a very, very stingy half a teaspoon in a beaker of water every 2 hours on the first day, then every 4 hours on the second day, then once in the morning, once at night, sparingly. After that, I know somebody that put a teaspoon, put a tablespoon full in. And I said, well, whatever you do, don't light a match. I think you'll take half your neighbourhood out.
Yeah.
That's one of the side effects.
Half your plumbing as well, by the sound of it. Right. There's a comment here from Sue. I've woken up and thought I was dead, couldn't move. It has happened a few times and it was really frightening and strange. I can't really explain it. I haven't had that. I've had somebody sat on me and I've been awake because, again, I've been watching the clock. So that was not sleep paralysis. I do believe in sleep paralysis, don't get me wrong, but the times that I've had it was not sleep paralysis. Not when I've been aware of my surroundings, completely aware, just not able to move.
So I've been asleep, then woken up in the dream and tried to get out of the dream.
I've done that once.
I was terrified. I've done it once. I was terrified. I couldn't get out of the dream.
No.
And eventually I woke up and they say, what is it? You're close to death at that point.
I know they say that if you feel like you're falling, you know, that when I haven't done that for years, but I went through a phase of feeling like I was falling as I was nodding off to sleep, and they say if you're at the bottom, you die. I don't know how true that is. I think somebody might have made that up. I just think it's relaxing and you.
Yeah. I've had a recurring dream where I'm actually falling into the road and I'm trying to get to the curb and there's a lorry coming towards me.
Yeah.
And I can't because the curb is going further away and I wake up.
Yeah. I had 2 dreams about being on a train track and getting my foot stuck and a train was coming, but the train never got any nearer. It was near me, but it never got any nearer as I'm trying to get my foot out. I had that twice.
When I was a kid, my mum had something about leaving the bedroom doors open. I don't know why. Leave the bedroom doors open. God knows why. Anyway, she had some weird thing, believes, and she used to talk in her sleep. And I remember she used to say to my dad, "There's a spider! There's a spider!" And my dad used to just get his slipper, go, bash on the floor. Got it, love. Oh, we should get back. Yeah. And the best one was I woke up in the early hours and she was obviously talking and she said, "Quick, get that man's legs away." What was going on in her dream? I don't know.
Sounded quite exciting.
Answers please on a postcard.
Yeah. Unless he was using her head for football practice. I mean, it could have been that.
Get that man's legs away.
Oh God.
That's called divorce, isn't it? Sort of women wake up like, Anthony, she's married someone called John or Fred.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's this?
Stephen's saying, I've been trapped in what I thought was my bedroom with no door, just walls at 3 a.m. Scary.
That is scary.
What's Paul saying there? Paul says, always get woke at 23 minutes past midnight and 2:23.
So do I. Exactly the same times.
All quiet when I wake. No reason I should wake at these exact times. That's very strange.
Yes, I do as well. I've had because somebody said it could be something to do with what we're not allowed to talk about.
Yeah.
You know. Gee.
What?
Gee. And apparently loads of people, because I've always been a good sleeper. I mean, I could sleep to order at one time. You know, I'm straightening my head at the pillow. You know,
yes, I can't do that.
But in the last couple of weeks, I've had insomnia. And I've taken a couple of hours to get off to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm sort of, and I've been trying, you know, the tip, isn't it, is to, if you get your thing, you draw a line down there.
Yeah.
And there's a part there, I think.
Yeah, you push in down there somewhere. You're fishing.
See?
Yeah.
See, it's effective. And the other one is your thumb, isn't it? Either side of your thumb.
Yes, your thumb joint.
And do that. And see that, and I've been kept awake doing that.
Yeah, get in the right spot.
That was what was his name now? Dr. Mandel. Well, Dr. Mandel on YouTube tells you how to do that, and he's all very happy and American. Yeah, you know.
It must work for him then.
Yeah, works for him, not for me.
Now I spent 2 hours going, no, that's not the right spot. No, that's not the right spot.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a groove. Where'd the bleeding groove gone?
Yeah,
Oh,
got a groove there.
yeah. I've been up and down my wrist, my wrist is aching.
Round your ankles.
But Nathan's in. Oh, was this a truth? Yes, I was very. It was very scary. I was about 15 years old, and the house was demonic.
Oh, I don't do demonic. Frightens me.
Ooh, yes, yes.
And Nathan, hello Nathan, saying
Hello, Nathan.
23 is a weird number. I usually synchronise with 23 in the autumn and winter months.
Hmm,
There you go.
that's right. Because it was like 13, isn't it?
Yeah,
People say that's unlucky because there was it 13 at the Last Supper? I think,
I
wasn't it?
never think 13's unlucky though.
No, it's 4.
Because 3 and 1 is 4, so that's my lucky number.
Was
That's
it?
how I
Was
look
it
at it.
China? That's so interesting because China, I think, is it 8? I
Think so,
think
yeah.
it's 8. They don't have 8. They're very, and the other one is black cats. Now they're lucky in Britain, but I think in Greece, they go a bit iffy.
I've got 2 of them, although she's got a bikini. She's got 2 little white blobs there and a little white triangle at the bottom.
Ah, bless her.
She doesn't
But
show it off very often. She's quite shy, but
is Roger Ring going to be making a guest appearance again, or is he in the affairs of state at the moment?
yeah,
Is
he's
he?
contemplating life there at the minute.
He might go and pass some motions at the moment.
No, he did that earlier, I can assure you.
I mean, in a political sense, of course.
All right, yeah. Yes, possibly.
Caesar is a tri-counting sheep. Well, is there enough of my neighbours around here to count? I don't know. Oh, sorry.
Ooh, nicely delivered.
I hope none are watching this show. If they don't talk to me, bastard,
Sue says, this is strange because there's a lot of streets that don't have a 13 on them. I've always found 13 a lucky number for me. My late grandma lived at number 13. A lot of streets that I've come across won't have a 13 in them.
Well, neighbours opposite where I used to live when I was a kid lived at number 13, and they were quite lucky.
Yeah.
It's odd, isn't it?
It is.
Now, what's that from Stephen Tree singing out around? Then the same time. Ah, there it is. Around the same time as I was astral projecting in my dreams, and I seen these strange 2-foot beings levitating on the landing. When my dad was young, I think he was in the kitchen of a old house where he lived. And it's a very they reckoned it was haunted. And suddenly, on the door handle started to go like this. So, very logical, my dad. He opened the door, and his mum had put a handbag the other side, and the cat was seriously.
That's the outcome that you want.
Yeah. But that was really because hauntings follow people. Because my sister and brother-in-law, such nice people.
Lovely people.
They're lovely people. Says Chris, lying out of his back teeth. They're so nice. I haven't seen them for 14 years.
Yes.
They're too nice
relatives to have.
And they lived in a place in Hertfordshire, North Hertfordshire, Royston. I liked it there, and they reckon that was haunted by something.
Was it haunted by them?
Yeah, I think it was. And then they moved to this bungalow near Stevenage, and they kept smelling because there was an elderly couple that lived there from when it was built in the 1920s. And then I think they died, and another family moved in, and then that family were only there a short time. Then they moved and sold it to my sister and brother-in-law, and they smelt old style cakes cooking. Ooh, and old style tobacco. And they could, I think I got a whiff of it once. It was very brief. Oh, that's nice.
To me, that's
But
kind of like a replay of people loving what they used to do.
mm,
Like when people say about every night at 8 o'clock, an old lady walks past with a pinny on and goes from one side of the living room to the other. I think
yeah.
that's because that's what she used to do, and that's what she loved. She loved living there, and I think that's a bit like that. My friend gets cigarette smoke. She
Oh, well,
smells
that's what they
cigarettes.
got. It was
Yeah,
like pipe smoke. They got it wafted in their face, oh, in their
yeah,
face. Probably it was the spirit frightening them, thinking, "Oh, bloody no!" Right?
yeah. What am I doing here?
All right, my ear, I reckon their ears are burning tonight. But no, what I was going to say is there are certain things. I sometimes smell my mum's perfume.
You see, I never
Um,
have. And my mum had really distinctive perfume in the 70s, and I thought, if anything, if she ever like
hmm,
presents herself, that'll be the smell that I smell, and I've never smelt it yet.
really,
Yeah,
I'm often aware of my granddad, my father, and sometimes my mother. You sort of get this sort of strange awareness. I think
yeah,
if you're afraid of something or you feel
yeah,
fearful, that's when they tend to come back.
yeah.
But yeah, it's in, that's it, but voices in the head. I mean, have you ever been sort of like walking through a woods and you get like a voice come into your head, or somewhere in the middle of nowhere and you get a voice come to your head?
No, I've never had that.
Hmm. I tell you, one I get. You go to a shelf in the supermarket. I sometimes have to go there, and you pick a product, and something says "don't." You put it back, and you get the one behind. And
I
it's
just do
just
that automatically anyway, because everybody's fiddled about with the first one you pick up, haven't they?
well, that's right. It's like when I go to buy something that's frozen, I'll get the one right at the bottom because
Yeah, I
people
do
have
that.
because people might have taken it out, walked around the supermarket for about half an hour, and then shoved it back
Yeah,
in
put
there.
it back again.
You know,
I left it on a shelf for 2 hours, and then the staff have put it back.
yes,
Um,
that's an
yeah,
interesting one from Krista Gardner. Oh, sorry, you got another one in no? Oh, there's a
yeah,
load of them there, isn't there?
yeah. Read them out.
Okay. Where are we? Uh, I think we had this one, haven't we? Hauntings can follow people, but this house had a demonic portal.
Mm.
Hmm. Uh, Walgreen says one of the buses to a local village near me has Route 666 on it. The kids call it Satan's
Yeah,
bus.
with satanic kids on it. Spawn of Satan.
Now,
That's just tickled me in response.
Sting 668, the neighbour of the beast.
He comes out with them.
Me and the missus. By the way, I hope your missus is okay. Hope she's fighting on. Nearly bought a bungalow where a fella killed his wife and then himself. We backed
Oh,
out because we could feel the horrendous energy.
did you
Yeah.
know about
Oh,
that?
yes.
When you
What's
went
that?
to look at it, did you actually know about the history of it, or did you find out afterwards?
Yeah,
Because
that's interesting.
yeah, that'd be interesting if you didn't know about it and went and felt it. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that you'd be influenced. Well, I know what I mean.
What do you think about having goods from like clothing from someone that's passed on?
To be
Does
honest,
that
I think if you wander into a charity shop, you don't know where your clothes have come from, do you? So if somebody
well,
actively sort of said, "Here, there's some dead people's clothes here," I
yeah.
don't know. I'm not really bothered about things like that, to be honest. If it's
No.
objects, if somebody's like desperate to get rid of some hideous looking doll and they want you to have it, I think I'd be a bit worried about that.
Well, I'll tell you what I do with shoes though. Um, and that is I put salt in the shoes, and that
Yeah,
takes any negative away. And you can put a
yeah,
little bit of salt in the pockets if you're a little bit concerned. So I heard, but
in a jacket.
I put it in every four corner of a wardrobe.
Yeah.
But no, I bought some secondhand army boots. Can't remember the name of them, but
I
they're
can't.
actually
I know which ones you're on about.
yeah, the ones from Yorkshire.
Yeah.
And I just put salt in them. They seem okay, you know. Uh, Now, what's this? Uh, Stephen Truthseeker there. That's known as a recording haunting when ghosts keep doing the same thing. The ghosts are not really self aware, but I've interacted with ghosts. It's interesting.
And Shelley's saying, I used to sit in a physical circle and was left a brooch under my chair. That's nice. Get little gifts.
That's lovely, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
I was at school with a teacher that used to go to seances, and he said he saw a trumpet appear from nowhere, whizzing around the table during the seance, and it disappeared.
There's Skull. That's a really interesting book, the Skull Experiment, where they blocked off a cellar, and a group of psychics did all these different experiments. There were things appearing, there were newspapers and appearing. It really is an interesting book. Chris says, we did know Debs. Jess's cousin lives opposite and her husband was the first on scene after it happened. It was cheap, that's why. A lot of house and land for our budget, yeah. But then you've got to weigh up what you're left with, aren't you? Like the residual.
Ooh. Well, the house I was born in, never really quite liked it. I never felt comfortable there. And when I went, there was like outside, there was like a green area which dogs use as a lavatory. So you sort of, so you'd be sitting in the living room looking out over the hedge and seeing dogs squatting all day. Yeah, you're having sausages. It really put you off. Chris, I'm saying, here's your sausages. I've lost your appetite.
I'll just have the peas and potatoes if you don't mind.
No, actually, I ate like a horse. But what I was going to say is these. What was I going to say? Yes, and apparently somebody had died in the house, and they laid them out in the living room.
Well, they did in them days, didn't they?
Yeah, before my parents moved in, that was.
Well, yeah.
Because they didn't come in and say, "Oh, blimey, look, someone's left a stiff in the living room." I wonder where we left it. Oh, thank you. Oh, it's Uncle Bert. Yeah, we both
wandered off.
But no, I always felt it was a bit of a creepy place. I didn't really like the house very much. It was odd. I was only too pleased to move away, you know. But
right, where did we get to?
Nathan's
asking, what are your thoughts on demonic attacks? I believe in demonic attacks.
Yes.
But I believe you can also protect yourself from demonic attacks. I don't know if I've mentioned this. I went with BBR, Deborah. We went to, what do they call that place near Whitby?
Oh, I know the one. There's Cannock Chase.
No, it was a caravan park anyway. We hired a caravan, so we were doing some investigations at Danes Dyke. And anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, so when we actually got down to the car park, Danes Dyke is the weirdest place. You drop down, there's loads of like trees and things, and you drop down.
Oh, Firely.
No,
no.
It's the name Summit Bay, Thornick Bay caravan park we stopped at. And it's sort of near Flamborough, Bempton and all that. Anyway, we decided we were going to go down to Danes Dyke, and like I say, it's really steep, and it goes so far down, and then there's a car park with a cafe, and then when you go further down, you get to the beach, and the beach is absolutely full of stones with holes in, hagstones. Every stone on the beach has got a hole in it. It's a fascinating place. It's lovely, but on a night, it's so creepy. And every time we drove past the entrance to drop down to Danes Dyke, we all felt sick and got a headache. Heading into Danes Dyke, we all felt sick and got a headache. Every single one of us. There were 2 cars with 8 of us in, and we all had the same feeling. And when we got into the bottom, we were going to go exploring, and as I got out of the car, I said, I need to be here. I need to stay here. And they're like, you can't stay here on your own. I said, we're in the middle of nowhere. I'll be all right. Anyway, there was loads of protests, and I said, I'm stopping here. For some reason, I need to stop here. Anyway, I found out that my lovely Maglite torch that I thought would be, brilliant, shone. I'd have been easier just lighting my lighter. But I heard something drop out of a tree like the size of a man drop onto a forest floor, and I spun round with the torch. There was nothing there. As the rest of the group went, did they go? They went down the hill.
Mm-hmm.
There were voices by the cafe building, and when I shone my torch, there's nobody. The cafe was all shut up. The shutters were up. It was dead. Nobody there. as the group came back down, came back up
Mhm.
to go up the hill, they shouted to see if I was all right. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. So they carried on off up the hill, and the voices actually came from where they'd come from. There was like 4 male voices, all in like a bit of a
Right.
huddle. Nothing there. So then all of a sudden, right in my solar plexus, I felt like I was going to be sick, and proper sick.
Mm.
It doubled me over. I felt really, really sick. So I'm trying to, I'm not to panic, and I'm getting my breath back. And I leant up against the wing of the car to steady myself, and it felt like a buffalo hit the other side of the car. It knocked me off the car. The force of like a buffalo hitting the car. And I spun round with my torch, and there was nothing there. And I was just getting to the point where I was actually going to scream. And I could see the torch lights coming back down the hill. And I'm like, I have no idea what that was, but something didn't want me there. Definitely didn't want me there.
It's strange, isn't it? Because I actually have this thing with buildings. There's some buildings that I go into and I go,
I've
I'm
only
very
done it with
sensitive
a
to
couple.
that. Yeah,
It's
and
not. It's not usually the whole building. It's areas of the building. I've never walked into an entire building and gone, oh God, no. I've gone into a building and I've got to a part of a building and gone, oh no,
yes,
no. It's never been
there's
the whole. I've heard
something.
of people say the whole house was.
There's the whole house with me.
Yeah,
I go in and I think, oh, I don't know. But there was something about the Dominion in Tottenham Court Road, and
right.
that's in London. Now, I used to work in London, and if I was walking down Tottenham Court Road, I crossed the road to avoid the Dominion. I didn't like walking past, going anywhere near the Dominion
Yeah,
in
it's
Tottenham
weird,
Court
isn't it?
Road. But when I was a kid, my parents took me there, or mother did rather, to see a film. And it didn't affect me then, but whatever it was affected me when I was older, you see. And this went on. And a couple of years ago, I mean, I haven't worked in London for years. I saw a write up, and apparently behind the Dominion Tottenham Court Road was a torture chamber during World War II, which they took German prisoners to torture them to get information. And I'm
Really?
wondering whether I was picking that up.
Possibly, yeah. Picking up on the dark energy.
Well, on the terror of these poor souls that were tortured there, you know. But
Yeah.
that is something that they kept secret for years. Because it's only the enemy that tortures people, not us, because we're nice chaps, you know.
Oh
But
yes.
yeah, but anyway, there's a lot in chat. It's fascinating. Oh, we
I've,
got Patrick in chat as well. That's reconciliation. Yeah,
hi
but
Patrick. Um,
uh,
I've starred a few.
mm,
DJ says, in our family house, my brother and me heard banging coming from upstairs. We had thin walls. When he went up there, he couldn't see the wall moving in the bedroom where the banging was occurring. Oh, that's a bit creepy.
that is weird.
That is weird. Then going back
Mm,
to Chris's
yeah.
house, exactly that, Debs. We have 4 dogs. I don't think they would have coped with it. No, probably not. So glad we didn't buy it. We love the house we have now. Fantastic energy. That's what you need. Nice bit of energy.
That's it. We want good positive energy. That's what we
Yes.
need. That's it.
And Reconciliation saying one of the first radio show episodes of The Shadow with Orson Welles involved a seance with a trumpet. Ooh, don't think I've ever seen any of them. I've been
Mm.
watching Alfred Hitchcock.
No, that is in America, Patrick. He's in
The-
Wisconsin, I think. The
Wisconsin.
cheese place.
Yeah,
Wisconsin, yeah,
Wisconsin. Yeah.
where the cheese comes from. It's a cheesy
Good to
place.
see you.
But, no, what I like about Patrick, he gives. He's American, but he talks in these sort of English terms, so we
Good.
understand it.
That's what we
Good
like.
man. So I tried to talk in American terms. You know, it's politeness. It's nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Again, Reconciliation. How do you know you're not communicating with evil spirits? I would not dare be involved with a seance. I've done a couple of seances, and so long as you know what you're doing and you protect yourself and ask for a higher protection to look over you, it doesn't have to be God. It can just be higher spirit or whatever. They're pretty good actually. But I would never just go in and link hands and set off. It's the same as using a Ouija board. I would just never open a Ouija board and say, right, let's get cracking. You've got to know how to protect yourself before you're using anything like that. I mean, I wouldn't use a Ouija board nowadays. I have done in the past, and I've got really good results, but I don't think I'd do it now.
Well,
I'd get rid of mine.
I've never seen it, but apparently you used to be able to buy Ouija boards in this country in toy shops.
Yeah, because they're a children's toy. That's what they were advertised as.
But I
6
know
years and upwards.
John Hamer, he told this on here, so I can pass it on. He had a terrifying experience where it was, I think it would be better, obviously, from him. He's on honeymoon at the moment, so he can't say.
Oh,
But yeah, but I think it was a good spirit.
Need a nose blow. I'll let you tell the tale.
Okay. Well, it's a good spirit that had literally frightened the kids not to mess around with these things and frightened them. So, there was lucky there. But reconciliation, I like this one. Ha ha, Gouda to meet you. Oh, I like that one. That's a good name.
Nice one.
Nice one. Yeah, Gouda to meet you. But so any cures for Deb's cold, please, will be most well recommended. Okay. So but the thing is about spirits. I know that there was a chap that died on the operating theatre, and as he drifted up, he saw he went over a pub, and he said there was a queue of spirits waiting for people to get drunk so they could enter their bodies, and then suddenly he was pushed back again as they put the old electrodes on him and poof, started his heart again.
That's a bit creepy.
Yeah. So I think that, when you look at a drunk, they're not in control of their brain. And that's why I think they call the drink spirits.
Well, they say wits out, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah. And they say the truth. If they don't like you, they tell you they don't like you.
Yeah.
But their own was if you get further than 6 foot, I think it is, from a drunk, they can't see you. You can only see within 6 foot of them.
I'm going to test that out on remembrance.
Yeah, why not?
Actually, I have to say, yeah, a few of the mates that we go out with on remembrance, they do that kind of like swaying backwards and forwards, trying to focus thing. That's when you're 3 feet in front of them. I don't know about 6.
Well, did you know that Dean Martin used to act drunk when he wasn't? And he didn't drink very much, and it was part of his act. And he learned how to do it as if he was stoned out of his brain when he wasn't.
I was going to say, I thought he was an alcoholic.
No, he wasn't, apparently. And as for partying, he was the first one to leave and go home. He's a family man.
In bed for 9 o'clock.
Well, apparently, I don't know how true this is. When Oliver Reeve went on that talk show, stoned out of his brain, he wasn't drunk. He was sober. But he did it to get publicity, and it worked.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it would work, really, wouldn't it?
A lot of them act drunk when they're actually not.
Yeah.
There's a bloke who did a comedy act where he acted as if he was stoned out of his brain. And when he left, the police used to stop him thinking he was actually drunk. It was his act.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Right, where am I? Sorry, right.
That's all right.
So, getting back to...
Oh, Aunt Sally.
I'm looking at...
I found Dean Martin very attractive.
Yes, I think he was.
He was very smooth. I tell you what you don't get now. Cool. What's happened to cool? Steve, what's it now? Clint Eastwood, he's cool.
James Dean was cool.
Yes. What about the bloke who drove the Mustang car? What's his name? Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen.
He was ultra cool.
There's no cool anymore. There is no cool.
No. Now, this is an interesting one. That Chris the Gardener, very odd. This is very odd. Chris, as a former alcoholic, I agree with you, Chris. I felt like demonic possession at times. Yeah. And as for spirits being called so, of course.
Yeah, I get that. Thank you for your honesty there, Chris.
That is brilliant. That takes guts, that does. That takes a lot of guts to admit to that. So good on you, mate.
Glad you're at the other side of it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. Nicest people, one of the nice, and also people that suffered through things like that are the nicest people you could wish to meet. Because they know they don't take life for granted.
They've seen the flip side.
Yes. I think we've all seen the flip side, haven't we?
I think we have. We've all seen the flip side of summer, haven't we?
Yes. Yeah.
But going back to my things that aren't there. When we lived in our old house, I used to work shifts, so I'd Sometimes I'd work till 9:30 at night. Sometimes I'd finish at 4. It depended. There was no set pattern to my working week. And more often than not, on a Friday, I used to work late, and Gaz would go out with his mates from the bike club. So I'd go home and I'd have something to drink, and then I'd go to bed and read my Kindle. And I used to hear him come in. Now at the time, we had a wooden back door, which had a distinctive sound when you opened and closed it and shut it and locked it. We had the key, one of those metal key things at the bottom of the stairs door. So you could hear the keys going onto it. There was all these different sounds of somebody coming in. And this used to happen on a Friday night. It was always between 11:30 and 12. And I'd hear him come in. I'd hear him lock the door, hang the keys up, empty his pockets in the living room, because it was a terrace house, so you could hear. And then it would all go quiet, and I'd think. First time it happened, I thought, he's fallen asleep downstairs. So I went downstairs. There was nobody in. Downstairs was empty. The door was locked. His keys weren't there. And I'm like, it's a bit weird. Anyway, next morning I said, did you come home last night and go back out? He said, no, I got home about, I don't know, I think I'd heard this at about 11:30, and he came in at 10 to 12. I went, right, okay. And then every Friday night, if I was at home, it happened. So exactly the same. It'd be 15 to 20 minutes before he actually came home. It was like a recording of him coming home. And I'd listen and I'd think, I'm going to go downstairs. He'll be downstairs. And he never was. It got so regular. It was unbelievable. So, but I can't understand why that was happening. It wasn't like a spiritual replay. It was something that was happening before it happened. And I've never worked out to this day what the purpose of that was. But it was always the same. Door opening, door closing, door locking, hanging the keys up, emptying his pockets. I could even hear the light switch go off, because he used to leave the lamp on downstairs.
Oh, yes. That used to happen in my old house.
Yeah, you could hear the lamp go off. And I'd go downstairs, nobody there.
I'd be nodding off to sleep and suddenly hear click.
Yeah.
And the light's still off.
Yeah.
And you go click. Very, very strange. But I like what DJ Flipter says. I was staying in Beverly Hills when Dean Martin passed on. The ambulances made a right commotion.
Well, I bet they did.
Well, it's a bit like my great-great-great-grandfather died at the Alamo. Did I ever tell you that?
No.
He was camping in the field next door, and he went over to complain about the noise. Oh, terrible, wasn't it?
I don't know where you get them from.
Oi, do you mind shutting that bloody noise down? I'm trying to get some sleep there.
There was a man that had never been to a motorcycle rally.
Yes.
When people start the bikes up in your ear hole at like 3 o'clock in the morning. That's nice.
Yes, it's a bit like Hell's Angels.
Yeah.
Calf, you say. Oh, what else should I say? And this little weedy bloke walks in. They get his crisps and go. Like this, you see. And then they get his beer and they put it on his bald head. And the bloke just turns round and walks out. They go to the barman and said, not much of a man, was he? He says, nah, he's not much of a driver. He's just driven his truck over 15 motorbikes out there.
Harley Davidsons.
I cocked that one up, didn't I? Yes, how to cock a gag up. This is an interesting one from Aunt Sally.
You tried. Alcohol and drugs, they all change your personality. I've never liked being around people on either. I did get pissed a few times in my life and always regretted it. I know my limits now, I have to say.
Yeah.
I know when I've hit me, I can't go any further limit.
Well, I often see Aunt Sally in Miles's place and we say, well, we're trying to give up on the vitamin C tablets. Like,
oh, God, no. Are you rattling outside?
We're really on vitamin C and, oh, these healthy tablets, man, they're really freaking us out, especially the zinc. Oh,
yeah.
Take another one.
Vitamin D for me, I start twitching if I miss my vitamin D tablets.
No, they're not addictive, I assure you. Really joking. I reckon Miles now, if he's watching, he's going, that bastard, you said they're addicted. No.
Archie's got a strange question. Where do you see a griffin on a policeman's helmet? John Hamer will know. Ooh.
Yes, there is a griffin on there, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. We've discussed this at some point before.
Had you? Oh, really?
I think he's on about a
Could be his-
policeman's helmet.
yes, could be his truncheon, you know.
Could be.
Yes, yes.
There is something about that. I remember, didn't John mention that once before when we were on?
Might have done.
Yeah, it rings a bell. It rings a bell.
I know that the what was it? There's lots of really strange things. Unicorns, they're featured a lot as well.
Yeah.
Why is it that unicorns are featured in all this sort of, what is it, rainbows and things
I
like
don't
that?
know. Because, I mean, unicorns are mythical creatures, aren't they? And I suppose rainbows are classed as mythical, even though they're not mythical. It's caused by water and rain and sunshine, in it, but
That's right.
they are kind of mystical looking. I don't know whether it just ties in because of that.
No. Well, I mean, they say if you find the end of a rainbow and dig a hole, you'll find a pot of gold. All I got was bleeding backache, you know.
Couple of old potatoes.
I've never been to it. Joking aside, I've never been to the end of a rainbow. I've always just
I've seen. In fact, a couple of months ago, we went out on the bike, and we came over. There's a really lovely road when you come up out of Otley town. There's a lovely road across the top, and you can see for miles. And I saw both ends of a rainbow, but because it was so big, I couldn't get it all in one shot because it went from one side of the road to the other. But yeah, there were two ends of the rainbow, and plus the fact I was on the back of the bike, I got a bit of the rainbow. But as we went over the actual tops, I could see both sides of it, which would have made a stunning photograph if it had got a panoramic camera.
Well,
but yeah,
must be a lovely feeling of freedom on a not push bike.
Push bike.
I want a push. I use a push bike that identifies itself as a Harley Davidson.
Yeah,
You know,
it's the noises you make while you're on it.
Well, you know, if I've had some cabbage and Guinness before getting on the bike, people say, "Oh, I think you've got a blown exhaust there, isn't it?"
Yeah, a bit more choking than at the start.
But no, actually, on a motorbike, that must be a great sense of freedom because
It is if it's not raining.
that's
Then it's not too hot and it's not too cold.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Because you've got this 60, 70 mile an hour wind blasting into you, and it's lovely on a hot day.
We came back from, I think it was a motorbike rally we'd been on, and we hit the other side of Sheffield, and the heavens opened, and it was hailstones. And I was sat on the back of the bike, and I'm going, ow, 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 all the way home. And when we got off, he said, "What were you making all that racket for?" And I pulled down my jeans, and my legs were covered in little round bruises where the hailstones had hit all, like my thighs and my knees and my shins. So that's what I was saying, ouch for. 70 mile an hour, that bloody hurts.
Well, I've noticed though, people on Harley, big, because I think you got a Honda, haven't you? Is it a Honda?
No, it's a Suzuki Intruder. It's big,
beautiful,
big cruiser.
Motorcyclists with big motorcycles are generally the best drivers there are.
Yeah,
because they're expensive and they can't care of them. Yeah. They don't take liberties. What gets me is these ones that sound like a sort of pregnant wasp.
Oh, they're more like,
you know,
they're more like little point and go scooters, like a wasp in a tin can.
Well, my driving license allows me to drive up to 50 cc's of throbbing power. Wonder what I've never been on a motorbike or moped. I mean, I wonder what a 50 cc or 49 cc is to be correct.
Are you sure it's not a 125? You can drive up to. I had a 125 on a line on a L plate.
You can drive. I can drive a 125 on an L plate. Yeah, but I've got to take another test.
I can't see what I've got on there.
Because I mean, my car, where I have it MOT'd, is actually a bike place.
Yeah,
and very, very good they are. And when I'm having my car MOT'd, I'm sort of wandering around their
excuse me
studio, looking at their. That's all right. Bless you.
I know.
And do you know why they say bless you? Because sneezing was the first signs of them getting the plague. Great plague. That's why they say bless you. But no, I often have a wander around and just sort of interested. And I said to him, I said, well, can you drive up to 50 cc on my my driving license, and he said, "Oh," he said, "you can do a 125," but he said, "Nearly everybody gets through the test. He said, it's just to show your competence." And he said, "If you got a driving license, you've been experienced driving and that, but being a tight-fisted git, I don't know." You're right, Deb. I mean, if it was like California where it's sunny most of the time, fine. But this country, it's either lashing it down with rain.
Yeah, you've got to pick your days, that's for sure.
I should think it'd be quite dangerous in the wet, isn't it? I know, not on a big motorbike, but on a 50cc.
Oh no, yeah. No, on a big motorbike, you sometimes feel it fishtail a bit. If the roads have been dry and then it's suddenly rained, it's kind of greasy. You don't feel it so much in a car because you've got all four wheels on the floor, but on two wheels, it sometimes fishtails a little bit on some corners and things.
Yes.
But you see, if you'd never get anywhere, would you, if you didn't throw caution to the wind from time to time? I mean, Aunt Sally says, I think I'd shit myself if I got on a big motorbike. I got on one with a lad when I was a teenager and he terrified the hell out of me. Drove around hairpin bends at speed the lot, never again. You see, that's one thing my husband doesn't do. He's a very safe rider. I mean, don't get me wrong, we'll do speed on, like straight bits, but when it comes to bends and what have you, quite careful. You never know what's coming the other way, and you've got to be aware of other drivers as well, because some of them won't give you an inch if you're on a motorbike.
I think you sometimes have. I mean, I think with the small motorbikes, everybody's come off of a small motorbike. That's part of the. I mean, my push bike, I've come off of that several times. I've collided with a fence.
Yeah.
I knocked myself out for about 10 or 15 minutes. Seriously. What else have I done? Because the strange thing is, when I'm in a car, I'm a very sort of placid driver. I'm not a speed merchant at all. I'm very, very sort of easygoing. But when I get on a push bike, I cycle like a bat out of hell, and I don't know why. I think what it is because you haven't got speed. Yeah, it's really weird. I love to get my head down, and really go along. It's weird. I don't understand why I'm a speed merchant on my push bike, but not on my car.
I bought it for a song actually. I had a little 125 Marauder, a little cruiser. And I got my L plates, and we went up to the Civic Hall car park, and I was doing really well doing all these circuits. And then this kid was playing with his football with his dad, and he kicked the ball, and it was like slow motion. I was heading towards the ball, and the ball was heading towards me, and I'm like, it's either I come off the bike or I hit the ball, one or the other, and I just came off the bike. But you get back on and you carry on.
Well, that's right.
I used to bounce back then a bit better. I've lost a lot of weight since then, so I don't bounce as well now.
A couple of months ago, I actually had an altercation with a fence. You see, it was a choice of either going headfirst into the river, or no, it's the new river? It's a sort of like a canal. Headfirst into that, or going into the fence. I decided the fence was a bit better option.
Yeah,
the wounds are still there after 3 months. I've still got the marks to prove it. It must have been very deep. Yeah. But no, it was a bit like sandpaper. So
oh, God.
Bike was all right. It was me that got it.
Yeah.
No, what it was, I went down this steep slope, and like a soppy sod, I decided to change gear whilst going down the slope. Silly.
Yeah. While we're on that subject, I think we'll have a little advert.
Why not have an advert? Come on,
let's have this little advert.
This is an urgent appeal on behalf of Fockham Hall. Please don't turn a blind eye to the plight and suffering of this man. Every day he has to strive to keep Fockham Hall going. He can cycle for miles in a day, trying to collect visitors to direct to the website. Can you help? Can you spare 5 minutes of your day to visit? I've seen for myself the desperation in his eyes. Can you really be so cruel and heartless as to look away? Please, if you can help in any way, then visit the website at www.fockhamhallradio.com. Thank you.
Thanks.
This is an urgent. This.
Right.
That's brilliant. Thanks a million for that. That's a real surprise. That tune, a lot. That is terrific.
That's been on there. I've had that on there before, but I've obviously updated my video making app. So I have
brilliant.
deleted some of my my adverts because I'm going to make some better ones. So you'll have to bear
very
with.
kind. That's very,
Bear
very
with.
but I like, especially the bike with a was it the Lurex or something, you know?
Oh yeah. I thought, seeing as you mentioned the bit about ending up in the canal, I'd put that on because there was a bit where you're actually heading off the bike into the river by the look of it.
Well, tell you what gets me though is electric cars, because you cycle
Mm.
along, you think, I've got this sense of something there, and then look round, there's a bleeding bonnet of a car next to you.
Yeah, that is rather annoying.
But no, I'm actually, as I'm getting older, I'm getting sort of into sort of motorbikes. I never used to be, but I'm thinking, yeah.
I do like a motorbike, but my hip's not. I've got no padding around my hip. I went to the doctors and she referred me to the physio, and he said, right, we'll send you for some x-rays, and there's nothing wrong with me hip replacement. It's because I've got no padding on my bum. So when I sit for long periods of time, it's like digging in. It's not good. So sitting on the back of a bike can get quite painful at times, and it doesn't matter what painkillers I take. I've taken everything, and it doesn't have any effect.
I have heard though that I'm talking maybe from ignorance here, that Harley Davidsons are built for the American freeways, but they're not much cop in Britain. I mean, they're a bit overrated. Is that true, or am I just?
It is. They are much better for long dry roads.
Yeah.
I mean, we did have one for a while, and when we first got it, I always put it down to the fact, because I was a lot heavier then when we first got that bike. The seat was really narrow, and every time we went over a bump, it scraped. And I said, it's because of my weight. And my husband's going, it should be able to take it. It's not. I don't think it is. And he actually bumped into the bloke whose bike it was before Gaz bought it. And he explained to him what was going on, and he said, you've altered the suspension, haven't you? Because it's only set for a solo ride. So once he altered the suspension and made it for like two people, it was absolutely fine. But yeah, that was not the comfiest bike. Not at all.
I think the Honda Goldwings, apparently I heard, they looked at the Harley Davidson, took it to bits and re-engineered and made it good, because Honda, they've certainly got a name. But I actually,
beautiful.
Well, whilst this was all, when was it? Earlier this year. Whilst I was waiting around, because the first car goes in for MOT in May, and the second one goes in about August, September. And I was sort of killing time. I was looking around, and he's got electric ones now. So, well, to me, they're a bit sort of mamby-pamby electric ones. And there was a 50cc motorbike there. Well, not motorbike, moped. And it looked like a really flash motorcycle.
Yeah. Was it a Bergman? Because they look like motorcycles and they're not the mopeds.
I don't know.
It's got the fairing and everything, and it looks like a sturdy bike, but it's actually a moped.
Really? I mean, for teenagers, they can go and kill themselves with it.
No. I think you should have I definitely think there should be an age range on getting a two-wheeler.
Yes. I mean, the advantage is traffic jams with two wheels, because you can just shoot through.
It is, unless one of the cars goes like that to stop you going through the middle, because you are legally, you're allowed to go through the middle. But a lot of cars will move to the white line and not let you through. Yeah.
Miserable sods. I didn't know that. I know on a push bike, you can't go on the outside on that because you ain't got the power. You simply have not got it.
No, you haven't. No.
It's the pavement.
Yes, that's what it is.
Some naughty people do that, but not me.
No, surely not.
I'm a good boy. I wouldn't dream of doing such a thing if the police are watching.
Yeah. There you go. That'll make you feel good.
Yes. Is it the sort of what they call it? You get to a certain age where you try and bring your youth back, or something like that.
It's like a midlife crisis, but
with mine, it's a geriatric crisis.
You missed out on the midlife bit.
People said to me, "I don't recognise you without your glasses," yesterday, because the wear from the computer. And there's this thing now, but there's this thing now where you wear orange glasses. So be raised, that's it.
Right. we're going back again. I'm just looking at my little. I made lots of notes earlier, so I've done that and I've done that. Music. We were on about hearing parties. I
Yes.
once heard like angelic music, like tinkling bells and harps and little flutes.
You did and all?
Yeah.
I did. It's fairy music. Seriously.
Yep. Really
this
beautiful, moving music that you've never ever heard before, and you would never be able to recreate. Well, I don't
We've
think you.
heard it as well.
Yeah.
I loved it. I've never heard anything like it. And
Must have
this
gone on
was
for about 5 minutes. It faded in and then faded out. It was just really beautiful.
well, because this was between Christmas and New Year many years ago. I was in my car, and I was driving up near the A505 near where was it now? Near Royston, and I was coming from Cambridge sort of area, and the roads were deserted, and it's a clear blue, clear moonlit sky before we had these chemical.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it was a few years ago. I could hear this music, but it was sort of all around, but it wasn't.
Yep.
And eventually, I actually stopped the car and got out. It was still around me. And it's like a kind of woodwind sound. It's fantastic.
This was more, like I say, harps and bells and flutes but that was again when I was in bed, just getting ready to go to sleep. Because I opened my eyes and I'm listening. I'm like, where's that coming from? And it was sort of in my head, but all around it was weird. And then it just kind of faded out, and I was like, that was gorgeous. Don't even know what caused it, but it was gorgeous.
But this was from, I can remember that, it's Ashwell. There's a place called Ashwell and Morn. And as I was driving along, directly I saw the A505 lights.
Yeah.
And it stopped. And I reversed, and it still stopped.
Right.
Because this was just a country lane. It was pitch black. There's no lighting at all. But once I saw lights of civilization, and I was wide awake because I was driving, then I knew that it was...
It kind of broken the spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was in Gaga. I thought it was absolutely the most beautiful music I've ever heard. And it was like Elizabethan music in a sort of... I don't normally like it, but it's sort of... that kind of...
Yeah. It's plinky.
Yes.
Sort of a bit plinky, isn't it, that Elizabethan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was...
No, this was when I was getting ready to go to bed. I just put the lamp out and was getting myself settled, and it always takes me 5 or 10 minutes to get my pillows right anyway. So I just stopped and I listened, and I thought, that is lovely. And it was definitely not outside. It was too close to my ears to be outside.
That's
but
interesting.
There was a lot of strange things that happened in that old house. I woke up all of a sudden at 2:00 one morning, and I sat up in bed and I put the lamp on, and somebody had pulled the quilt down and folded it perfectly in half at the bottom of the bed. I'm like, if I've ever kicked the quilt off, it's in a clump in the middle. It was like somebody had ironed it. It was perfectly flat. Weird. I just pulled it back up and put the lamp off and went back to sleep.
That is weird.
All sorts of weird things. But I think that house, because I had a little girl ghost in that house, I could see her out the corner of my eye on the landing when I was in the bathroom. And then one night I was laid in bed and she was stood at the side of the bed, but if I looked at her directly, I couldn't see her. If I looked past her, I could see her in perfect detail. She had the biggest eyes, she had ringlets, she had a little dress with like a frill around the neck, and it was like a wine burgundy coloured dress. And he was still awake, and I said to him, can you see that girl stood at the side of the bed? And he looked over me, he's like, I can't see anything. And I'm going, look past. Couldn't see her. But I could see her in perfect detail, and it's just like faded out. But I used to go to a psychic development group, and we used to have guest psychics that used to come and give readings. And he came straight to me and he said, you've got a little girl that lives in your house. So I said, yeah. He said, she's saying, use all the part bottles of cleaning stuff up that you've got under your sink before buying more full ones. And I was like, excuse me. Everybody used to laugh at me for doing that, because if they advertised anything on telly, I'm like, I've got to get that spray. I've got to get those wipes. I've got to. So I went part bottles of cleaning stuff under the sink. She's like, you'd save money if you used them up before you bought new ones. I'm like, Guilty.
How weird.
Yeah.
Because I actually saw, I've said this loads of times on the show. So anybody's heard it before, it's time to make a cup of tea. And I'm no sugar, please. No, that's the one. I worked in an architect's office where that had been, it was an old manor house that they converted. And they bought, and apparently the history of this place was that in the Victorian and Edwardian times, it was a children's hospital. And what happened is, I think during the First World War, it was a nursing home. I don't know quite what happened after that, but it fell into disrepair. And these architects took it over in 1971. They were nice people and rebuilt it. And they paid, was it £70,000 for this place in 1971? Wouldn't get it there for that now. Anyway, on with the story. It never used to freak me out. And I often used to work late there, and there's like a main corridor that went down the place with offices sort of either side of the corridor. And I had my drawing board light on, and there was, I think the lighting, was it lit? It was sort of half lit down the corridor, and there's a couple of other people working in other offices sort of up, and up the corridor. About 6:30, 7 o'clock, most people have gone home. So anyway, I was working away, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw this little boy with Edwardian outfit on, breeches, the lot, and he's sort of looking at me. And I thought it was one of the architect's sons going to a fancy dress or something. So in a nice way, I sort of turned around, oh, hello. And as I looked round fully, my eyes focused onto him, he just disappeared. I went out the corridor, there's no one there. That's bloody weird. And I was talking to the caretaker there, sort of maybe the next day, I can't remember fully. And he said, oh, yeah, he said, I often see him. He said, when I'm, like cleaning the lavvy out or doing my duties, he said, yeah, he's often looking. He said, he's just inquisitive. He says, the ghost of a child that was in the hospital in the Edwardian times. Was, he said, he's perfectly harmless. He said, I often see him. He said, he's just one of part of the furniture, that's supposed to say, Yeah. But, and the school that I used to go to was haunted by a First World War pilot, apparently, that got shot down. I don't know if it's from a Zeppelin or what it was, but he used to walk around the corridors, apparently, looking a bit lost. But, my school was built a long time after the First World War, so why he was walking along the corridors, I don't know.
That's strange, isn't it?
Yeah. But that little boy, I'll never forget that. And so a lot of strange things. I was actually on it's a lovely place to work. It's idyllic because you can see all the fields all around. It's beautiful. And the first day you work there, you can't get your eyes off of looking at all the fields and that. But there was a very stressful project I was working on, and I was very stressed out from not only on the project but what's going on at home. And I felt really bad that day, and I'm a freelance bloke, so you've got to sort of put your 10 pence worth in. You got you're paid to do the job. And I went up to this loo, and as I was in the loo, I felt something behind me, a presence of something. And when I came out, there was like next to the loo was like a little kitchen where you could have a cup of tea and that. And suddenly I felt something massaging my back. And I thought, this is weird. And I sort of thought there was somebody there. And I thought, maybe it's the secretary having a laugh. Or, I don't know. Somebody having a, and when I looked around, there was no one there.
Right.
Yeah. And I felt really relaxed. And when I walked back into the office, people said, blimey, what's happened to you? You look all far. He said, you were stressed out earlier. Now you're sort of all relaxed. And it was really weird.
Helped to relax by spirit.
Yeah. I don't know to this day. I'm completely puzzled by it, but no, it's very odd. It wasn't anybody having a laugh or anything like that, it's very strange.
They obviously picked up on your need to be chilled out.
Well, it did, because I used to get kind of, what is it when you get a rash on your head? It was
psoriasis or
psoriasis,
yeah,
something like that. And apparently it's supposed to be hereditary. My dad had it. When I got particularly stressed out, I looked like sorry,
eczema.
Eczema. That's what it was. Eczema.
Yeah.
When I don't get it anymore now, but hopefully not. And when I got really stressed out, I used to look like Gorbachev. I have this big red patch on.
Yeah.
It's like, hello, comrades. You know.
Welcome.
So the more red of the patch, the more stressed I was. You know, I was very stressed. But there's some interesting stuff in chat tonight, isn't there?
Let's proceed.
Yes. Now we got here. Oh, hang on. First of all, we got Hideous Getfucked said, remember the Yamaha FST Yummy Fizz?
Yummy Fizz. Fizzer.
Do you reckon Japanese make the best motorbikes, or is it the English still, or British?
I think the English used to.
Yeah. Because you know what BSA stands for, don't you?
I know.
Bloody sore arse.
Yeah.
Now it says here, DJ Flip says, we occasionally get mopeds and push bikes coming past here with speakers blaring with loud music. Has anyone else has experienced that? No, but I don't know how people can cycle with earphones in.
No, I don't either. That's dangerous to me.
Well, I use my ears as well as my eyes, because I know by the sound of the engine whether it's a bus coming up behind me, a lorry, or a car. You can just tell by the engine. Unless it's an electric car, you got no chance.
I was just going to say you'd have no chance with an electric car.
No. Mind you,
I've been in an electric car in the last 6 months, and I think they're completely dangerous. Because if you stray, they've got a thing in them that if you stray too far to the middle of the road or the side of the road, it yanks you back into the path of where you're supposed to be.
And you think of all that electromagnetic smog inside. Just think about it. You got all that sort of...
I don't know. I hadn't really thought about that. I was just more thinking of the driving experience. And
well, did you actually drive this
I didn't drive it. I was a passenger, but twice I was locked into my seat. Just because the roads in Lincolnshire obviously have got no paths, curbs when you're out in the country. So you get too close to the bit of grass verge before the dike, and it just yanks you back into the middle of the lane.
Well, I was going down very narrow lanes yesterday, where I had to back up because a vehicle coming the other way, because there's like little passing spots. That happened many times.
Yeah.
So I wonder what would happen with an electric car in that situation.
I've nearly been run over by one. So I've never heard it.
I was walking across the car park at home base, and this thing was, what the bloody hell? And it's I think they're horrible. I mean, I really hold out to the last for getting one. And also electric mopeds. I saw a bloke on it. It's like, it's sort of, I'm sorry. No.
You see, there's a lot of those around here that go on the road and they're not insured, they're not taxed. It's just, no. But it'd be our fault if you hit one.
Yes. Oh, actually, Aunt Sally likes the Christian Cyclist one. It says, I've missed these little, I think that's little Deb memes.
Deb memes. I shall do some more, don't worry.
And Nathan likes it as well. I do as well. Nice, laugh my ass off.
That made me laugh. Yeah. Can't get used to these people walking around with great big headphones on. They're DJs on a break. That's all you see nowadays is people walking around with the big cans on. It had gone from little ones in your ears that you couldn't see to the big cans again. I don't understand it. Yeah.
Good heavens.
Just
weird,
mad.
Yeah.
What else is DJ says? Ian R. Crane told the story of a ghost grey extraterrestrial in an ex-military base. Poor soul, all that way from home. Oh
dear, that's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've witnessed these wandering DJs with the big headphones almost getting run over on more than one occasion, yeah. Not surprised.
I've almost been knocked over by one of those bloody scooters electric
Yeah.
scooters. Several times I've had a close one.
They go quite quickly.
Very quickly. They apparently can get up to about 20 miles an hour.
Yeah. It's quite speedy on a little two-wheel thing that you kind of stood on.
That's right. But I don't know why they don't make some sort of legal, because they're still illegal. You can only use them officially on private property.
Yeah,
You're
you
not
can.
allowed to use them in the street. But loads of people use them around here.
Yeah, they put balaclavas on round here and scoot round on them.
Really?
Yeah.
I had some bloke the other day. I was cycling down this lane, and I thought, what the hell? There's a bloke on a bike, but it's an electric one. It shot past me. He must have been doing. I mean, I was going like the clappers, and he shot past me as if I was standing still. He must have been doing at least 40. So I think he'd sort of twiddled with the.
Yeah, souped it up a bit.
That's right.
You have twin exhausts on the back.
Well, after it shook me so much, my exhaust pipe blew on my push bike. I don't think it's my exhaust pipe though. I don't think it's on the push bike.
Hopefully you were wearing brown trousers.
That's right. I had a laundry problem. Almost.
You needed to put a wash on when you got home. So anyway, back to my list. I've got one more thing on my list now.
Oh, that's interesting.
Exploding head syndrome.
What?
Exploding head syndrome. Basically, again, when you're just about to go to sleep and it sounds like somebody's slamming either a big heavy wooden door or a metal door, and sometimes I've heard it where it sounded like a gunshot, and sometimes there's a flash with it as well, but I don't know if that's because of the noise and the shock to your brain or whatever, but nobody knows why it happens. And there is a quote, according to the internet, exploding head syndrome is an abnormal sensory perception during sleep in which a person experiences unreal noises that are loud and of short duration when falling asleep or waking up. The noise may be frightening, typically occurs only occasionally, and is not a serious health concern.
I've had that. I get boom. You think, what the
loads of times, yeah. First time I heard it, I'm like, what the hell round here would make that noise? Because it sounded like a massive gate slamming.
Yes, that's it.
I've only ever had it in this house. I've not had it up until we moved into this house.
Really? Because I reckon there's something in the way you point. Your bed's pointed.
Yeah.
I mean, my bed is pointed. Hang on, where is it? My head's in the east, and my feet are in the west. So, but that's the best way of having it. Because if your head is north, and your feet are south, that's supposed to be bad.
Mine's northwest, just northwest. Because north is over there and my headboard's there, so it's only a fraction. But you're supposed to have your head facing north.
Are you? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
My head's facing east. My feet are facing west.
Right.
That's interesting.
Yes. Yeah, it was something to do with somebody that I once interviewed, and she was on about dowsing rods and how to find. If you wanted to find the perfect place in your garden to sit, get the dowsing rods out, and when they cross over, that's the place that you need to be sitting. And she also said about finding the best place to face your headboard for your bed. But when I did that in my bedroom, the bed would have been in a really strange position, so I couldn't really do it in there. But
I'm interested in feng shui.
Yeah, feng shui.
And that as well.
Yeah.
And because these dowsing rods, you can make them out of coat hangers, can't you? Just have 2 coat hangers. And they say it's better to have some copper.
I've got copper ones.
Copper pipe.
Yeah.
And it is very scientific. I mean, it actually works. And this is with this where we're talking about electric plants.
Yeah.
Where you walk along and it goes like that and back again. You douse to the best place to put certain things. Because the fellas are coming on the show soon anyway, so they'll explain it. But yes,
mine are brass rods with copper handles, and the swivel.
Really,
what?
Do eBay do them or some places like that?
Yeah, I got mine off the internet. I can't remember where I got them
Hmm.
from. They weren't cheap because they were copper and brass. I got the decent ones. But you can even use sticks if you can find 2 sticks there. You can use sticks, but the
It used to
copper
be
and brass
hazel.
ones are the best ones.
Well, that's right. It used to be, was it hazel? I think they used something like that.
Yeah,
'Cause the sticks
hazelwood.
would go
Yeah,
upwards.
yeah.
But it's quite amazing.
It's how
But
farmers used to find the water for irrigation in the fields and things. I mean,
hmm,
it's thousands of years old, so it's gonna work, isn't it? I love anything like that.
that's right. I mean, yesterday when I went to this place in Southwark, they got these pyramids, copper pyramids, like the tubes. Very,
Yeah,
very interesting. I
yeah,
want to find out much more about it because it's a hidden piece of our ancestry.
yeah.
And we're led to believe that, our ancestors were a load of either aggressive people or a load of dopes walking around,
Neanderthals.
and that's right. And
Yeah,
if you're ill, you get a slug or something. But no, not the case. They were very bright to survive. I mean, could we survive without electricity? I don't think so.
but it's what you get used to, though, isn't it? I mean, all those years
Yeah.
ago, they didn't know about it, so they didn't miss it. We know
No.
about it. If it was suddenly taken off us, we'd be like, "What? What do we do now?"
Hmm. Oh, DJ Flips is coming in interesting one about scooters and things. He says these council hired electric scooter rides. We ain't got anything like that around where I live. Do they leave their push bikes at the scooter station? I think they look silly. Maybe it's just me.
No, I agree. We don't have
Yeah.
them. I don't know. Well, we might have them in Leeds, and I haven't been into Leeds for God knows how long. So we could have them in Leeds.
Hmm.
There could be little pockets of them all over Leeds City, but I've not seen any.
I saw one that would be quite handy. It's a small one,
A
and
folding one.
you fold it down and you put it on your back.
Yeah,
It's handy if you're going anywhere by train and things like that, and you're
yeah, I've
lazy
seen
sod to
that.
work, walk, But
I tell you what, I
I'm
think
not.
it's cute. Have you seen? Do you have any of the little robots that deliver your shopping?
No, no, that.
They're
Well,
so
well, it's
cute.
semi-rural where I live. You wouldn't really.
No,
So
you probably won't.
really, but they have robots deliver your shopping. Does it knock on the door?
No, but they're like it's basically like a cool box on wheels with an aerial on the
Yeah.
top, and they load your shopping into it, and then they send it off to your address, and it trundles along, and it knows when to stop at like traffic lights, and it knows when to go up and down curbs, and they are quite
Really?
cute. Yeah,
You got them around where you live?
not here, but on the way to my dad's old house. Yeah, passed them a
Do
few
kids
times.
sit on them for a laugh? I mean,
Hey,
if I was a kid, I'd love to sit on that for a laugh. Did they do that? Take a ride on it?
I don't know. I've never seen anybody do that, but yeah, I probably would have done as a kid.
I would have done. I'd love that. Sat on there.
I think because they've got an anti-tamper thing. I think as soon as you touched it, it'd probably scream or something.
Yeah. How weird.
Yeah.
I've seen it because apparently they got dogs now on battlefields, electronic ones that go along.
Oh,
Fire comes out there. Oh, it's terrible.
they
Who
scare me.
dreams up? Just think what your job would be to think up weapons. What a horrible
I
job.
know. Yeah.
It's awful to kill people.
Oh, hang on.
Oh.
What's Hatchie saying? Just to think we were all taught to be in charge of our vehicles at all times. Tufty Squirrel, yeah, and the Green Cross Code man.
Yes.
I can still ride a push bike downhill, no hands on the handlebars, etc. I remember the Green Cross Code.
I remember that.
Apparently Herodotus says they have a bike stops outside Kirkstall. I haven't seen that actually.
Well, when you think about it, though,
I'll go through Kirkstall a bit.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, but
No, you're all right.
But what I was going to say is, why have a squirrel teaching children road safety? They're not exactly one of the best. Squirrels and hedgehogs, not the best at road safety, are
Yeah.
they? When you come to think about it.
Doesn't work really, does it?
No.
There we go. He knows where I mean. Co-op Spend Lane. C3P off. Yeah. They're all lined up outside. And they have a little flashing light on.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Good heavens.
You can't get much shopping in. I mean, I think it's just for like bacon, eggs, bread, whatever. But yeah.
I can't understand these Boris bikes where people pay money to borrow a push bike. I don't see the logic in that. Why not just walk?
No, I was thinking about this. I don't know why I was thinking about this today. I was thinking about if you got on a train and went to, say, York, and you wanted to get about York, I suppose hiring a bike, if there's bikes at the train station to hire, I should think that's because York's set up for bikes. I reckon that'd work.
Yeah.
If you wanted to get a bit of a mosey round and you didn't want to do all that walking. Although the last time I got on a push bike, I hadn't ridden a push bike for years, and when I got off, it felt like somebody had taken the bones out of my legs. Couldn't
Well,
stand up.
you heard the story. It's a little embarrassing, but it's only us two here. I don't think anybody's listening in. No.
Well,
See,
Sabre is, but
I
no,
always wanted.
his eyes are shut. You're all
When
right.
I think the reason I like push bikes now is because my parents wouldn't let me have a push bike when I was a kid because the roads are not safe enough. So I had to have a scooter whilst my mates had a push bike. I'm not talking about a motorised scooter. I'm talking about a bleeding old scooter. You know. The old
Well, you had to push with your other foot.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I'd want.
So that's, I think, a bit of rebellious in me now. You know, I've got about half a dozen bikes.
Yeah.
And my neighbour, I did some, I helped him out with some work, and he gave me a racing bike. And I never got round to buying a racing bike. I don't know why, I just never did, but I always wanted one.
With the drop handles.
Drop handlebars and all that.
Thin wheels.
That's it. They're only about half-inch wide. And this is a pretty good racing bike. And the first time I got on it, sort of, hi, I'm on a racing bike. And you put the glasses on the racing, sort of a bit like Steve McQueen, and I got on it, cycled around a corner, woman, and I was a bit, because when you got to get used to the thin wheels, and a little bit unsteady when you first. And I went around a corner, and the woman said, "Hello," and I went, "Hello," fell off over tail. So I got on like Steve McQueen. I got off a bit like Dick Henry's.
Yeah.
So, you're right. Yes, that's all right. I'm used to doing this. It's a stunt. I'm falling off a bike is really good.
I like to practice these stunts while I'm out and about.
Yes, oh yeah, oh really? All over England, they're all, because they're made in China, aren't they? These things.
Probably. A lot of things are made in China.
Yes. Well, let's go Jimmy Savile, eh?
LJ.
Don't get it. Do you get it?
No. I'm sure he'll explain.
Yes. Oh well. And no, the funny thing is that with anything like that, I mean, what I don't like is the winter. I can't use my push bike. Really, it's too bloody cold, and I'm a fair weather cyclist.
Lycra's not warm, is it?
I don't wear it like.
You did on that advert.
I did on the advert, yes.
Yeah, that was a bit of license.
They look like a sort of a Savaloy with legs, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah. There's no good look about a man with lycra on. It doesn't matter how he's built. Could be built like a racing snake. It just does not look good.
I saw a site, quite honestly. I know it's a bit like the Lee Valley. I was cycling in the Lee Valley the other day. Well, when it was nice and warm, and I was, because it's an incredible place, because it's a huge wooded area.
Yeah, I've heard
goes
that.
For miles, and you've got roads, I think, from the 1960s still there, because it was an industrial area which they actually cleaned up, and they planted trees there.
Yeah,
and it was a quarry area, and it's now full of water and well, there's been Bigfoot sightings around there and things like that. And you can drive. I mean, when you get near civilization, there's a few more people around, but when you get away from civilization, you can cycle for ages. Cars are not allowed in there for ages without seeing a soul. You're just on your own. Well, I was cycling the other day, and there's this must have been a personal trainer, and there's this bloke. He was so big and fat. I mean, he must have been you see these people that can't get out of bed. He was the next stage down from that. And you couldn't see the bike seat on him. All you saw was his bike. And he was going just about cycling along, and sweat. I felt sorry for him, pouring off of him. As the train's like, "Come on, we're going all right." There's another bloke
Oh,
behind him.
at least he was
He's
doing
trying.
something.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
but I felt really sorry for him. But you know, he could hardly get along. It was.
yeah, well,
But how the bike stood
a
him.
few more girls have hardly getting along. He might get to the point where he can get along. At least he got a
Well,
personal
right.
trainer.
But where did
Was
he fight?
forced into.
Did he lose the bike seat when he got off?
Ooh, don't you think?
Where's
They're not the
the bike?
comfortablest. They're not the
I'm
comfortablest
sorry.
or the biggest of seats, are they really?
Oh no, they're not.
I
Well,
went in from the waist down.
well, they're not. The thing is, it's adjusting them correctly because I got one with a slit down the centre. It's designed like that.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah.
Why
But,
is that? Is that in case you need a wee when you're cycling?
you got it in one.
No.
No, it's to let my dolly carts out.
Oh, God. I knew there'd be some reference to farting at some point.
I couldn't resist that one. But no, I think it's just cool things to make things a little cool, sort of
Oh.
around the nether regions as you're cycling along.
That probably would have helped, actually, yeah.
But the other day I was cycling along now, I was thinking, if I see Bigfoot now, nobody would believe me, will they?
Probably
You know,
not.
I heard a rustling in the bushes. Oh, no, it's some pigeons. But,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's
There have been a few sightings in the Lee Valley.
yeah, it's big enough. It's big
Yeah.
enough. And I think something could be
Sustaining itself.
yeah, I
Is
think it could.
Are the deer and things?
I believe so. I think there's muntjacs in there.
Yeah.
Rabbits, quite a few rabbits I've seen tearing around in front of me. What else have I seen? Lots of birds that what do you call it, coots and things like that are on
Right.
the actual and swans. They're also
Yeah.
on the rivers because there's lots of rivers around. Not rivers,
Lakes.
lakes. Yeah, mini lakes sort of thing. There's a fisherman there as well. But it goes for absolutely miles. It's like a green lung. But they're trying to build on it. They're trying to build in bits of it. They've built into it a little bit, you know.
I'm sure.
Hmm.
I'm sure I watched a murder thing last week, and that was from the Lee Valley. I'm sure it was.
Well, there's Eppings just up the road,
Right.
and there's the old folklore thing. I don't know if you heard it, and people say it's fake. Make your own mind up, okay? Just make your own mind up about this.
I need another blow.
Well, it doesn't make you blow your nose.
Go on, then.
And what happened is this happened in the 60s, apparently. And I don't believe it personally. I think it's a bit of a made up story. There was a courting couple that was sort of being rather amorous in their car in Epping. And it was at night, and the bloke needed to go out to spend a penny, so to speak. So he got out the car, and then suddenly the girl's sitting there, and he's gone quite a time, and she hears this bashing on the roof. Bang, 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 bang. What the hell's that? And suddenly cars come into the car park where they were, headlights blaring on, and it was the police. And a bloke over a loud howler, one of the policemen, said, "Get out of your car and don't look round." And she got out of the car and did look round, and it was a nutter that had cut the head of her boyfriend off and was banging it on the car roof.
That's
Now,
an urban myth from everywhere. There's one of them everywhere in the country and the world, actually.
I don't believe it.
Nah.
I do not believe it for one moment.
Definite urban myth.
Yeah.
Somebody will have dreamt that up, and it's just gathered like a moss gathering.
Yeah.
What is it? Rolling stone gathering moss.
I agree. And what would a loony be doing in the middle of the woods, in the middle of the night, on a cold winter's night? I mean, just would want to. Nobody want to be there.
No, you won't, would you?
No.
All right. Archie says Jimmy Savile clunk clip every trip.
Yes. Because you remember when they used to show you a peach or something, and you see a hammer smashing into the peach, where you had to put your seatbelt on.
Yeah, that'd be your brain or so, your face or something.
Yeah, and there's a joke about I was walking. The bloke was in hospital bed, you see, and he's all strung up. And there's a fella next to him said, "Well, what happened to you?" He said, "Well, you know, I didn't have my seatbelt on and I had an accident in the car." He said, "Sorry to hear that." And And then Jimmy Savile walks to the next bed, and bloke said, "What happened?" He said, "What happened to you?" And he said, "Well," he says, "I was eating, I was sucking a peach, and some bastard hit me in the face with a hammer." Yeah, it's an old one. And that's right. It's a classic camping tale.
Nice campfire tale.
I tell you, when I went camping, I woke up in the morning, and the girl I was with my girlfriend, and she was going because we could just all round the tent. It was the most terrifying sound.
Right.
And she was almost going delirious. So I was saying, okay, keep calm. We're going to sort it out. When I opened the zip, there's a herd of cows around the tent.
Yeah, the buggers for that.
And pulling the grass up, your head is close to the ground. It really sounds creepy.
Yeah, it does. That ripping noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that.
Yes.
What do you mean? What do you mean, bag of jam, Darren?
What's this? Bag of jam was another.
Oh,
with a hammer.
Yeah.
That was it, yes. And Haji said, having a pee on a push bike is why the water bottle was invented in France. I wonder why when someone offered me their water bottle, it tasted a bit salty.
There you go, you see. Now you know.
Your answer. No, it's just nobody make that up.
Hi, Deb. Good to see you. Hiya, Darian. How you doing?
Hello, baby with a laser. Oh, that's nice. But it's funny, isn't it? These urban myths and legends. But what about haunted Hockley? I think that's in Essex. That's supposed to be one of the most haunted places. Pluckley, sorry, in Kent. That's where the Darling Buds of May was filmed, and that's supposed to be one of the most haunted places in Britain.
I never knew that.
Yeah, Pluckley. But other people say, "Oh, there's Hockley in near, Essex. I think there is. That's haunted."
I know Barley Rectory was really, really a really haunted place, but then I think there was a fire, and I think what was left of it they razed to the ground. They demolished it all. So I don't know if the ground is still haunted. I don't know if they built anything there, but I remember reading about that when I was younger, like the monk and the floating nun in the garden, and quite a lot of hauntings in Barley Rectory.
Well, I went to a talk once.
I think.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you there. Sorry about that. I saw a talk by Michael Bentine, who was the fourth goon, as they say.
I used to like him.
Yeah. And his father was a scientist.
Yeah.
And his father was looking into communication with ghosts using high energy, whereas he said it's wrong, it's the other way around, it's low energy.
Low energy, yeah.
And he said, and I think it was Hockley, but don't hold me to this. He actually went to see a place that was haunted by a nun, and he saw it, and she's walking several feet above the path.
Yeah.
And he looked into the history, and apparently the path was lowered.
Yeah.
And he believed that what it was a recording.
Yeah.
And if the conditions are right, it plays itself back from time to time.
It's like the pub in York, because all the soldiers were marching along and the legs were cut off. But you couldn't see the bottom half of the legs, and that was because the path had been altered. But they marched through, I can't remember what pub it is. I've been in there, but it's really, we went to see a band and it was like sardines all squeezed in.
Really? That's
it, Chris. Chris says, I read a lot about Barley Rectory in my younger years too, Deb. Wasn't there a headless coachman driving a carriage with horses as well? Yep. I've seen a carriage on the Ackworth to Pontefract Road. I've been out with my friend and she used to do the driving. She was driving along, and we'd been out clubbing. She just drank pop. And as we're driving along, there's a long stretch of road, and all of a sudden, a coach with tails off the coachman's coats went diagonally across the front of the car, and I actually put my hands on the dashboard, and she went, "What's the matter?" She never saw it. I saw it. but it went diagonally across in front of us, right in front of the bonnet. I thought we were going to hit it.
Well, there's a house in Enfield in North London.
Yeah.
There's like council houses, and there's one that's been demolished on a terrace. So the sort of house demolished because they couldn't get anybody to live there.
No.
And apparently there was a family in there one
Poltergeist.
night, and it was a carriage that came through the living room,
Oh,
horses,
yeah.
everything, and people wouldn't live there because it kept happening. And what it was, that was the route of the A10, and that was the carriage that used to come down from Cambridge to London.
Right.
And you know,
A repeat.
and it was just sort of like a repeat of history.
I thought you were going
And
to say about the girls with the Enfield poltergeist.
yes, that was another one.
They never did actually establish whether that was hoaxed or whether it was real. I mean, I've seen some of the
50-50
photographs
on that.
that to recreate that back then would have been quite a feat, I would have said.
I think a lot of these researchers might be paid off to say what, you know, say it's a hoax. But poltergeists always seem to go for young adolescent children, don't they? There's something about the young adolescents. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, because all your hormones are sort of swirling round, and you attract poltergeists.
Because I won't go into it, but I've actually met myself, an older self. And I don't think that's happened to anybody else.
No, I've never heard that until you told me that.
Really? Well, I'll be as brief as possible. What happened is when I was younger, my sister and her future husband were, well, it made life very uncomfortable, not very nice. And it was stressful. It really was.
Yeah.
And and it was absolutely, I won't go into the details, but I was coming home from school one day, and it was a beautiful spring day, you know, blossoms and all that. And I was the furthest from the school. So one by one, my friends would go into their houses, and I was walking along, and it was, as I say, it's very open where we used to live. And I was always told, if you see a stranger, cross the road. Don't speak to a stranger. Well, in the distance, there's no one around. This must have been 3:30, get on for 4 in the afternoon when people are at work. So, you know, that is an empty time. This character's coming towards me. And I looked, and I wasn't frightened. I stayed on the same side of the road, and he stopped in front of me, and it was me, aged about 80 or 90. And he was wearing, I remember exactly what he was wearing. He had sort of like winkle picker type shoes on. He had a nice suit and that. And he said, "You look as if you've got the world of worries on your shoulder. For a young person, you have the world of worries on your shoulder."
Yeah.
And as he passed me, he winked and said, "It'll pass." I looked round, he'd just gone.
Yeah.
Then I got this pain in my third eye here. And when I got back, I'd solved the problems.
Right.
And it did work out okay. And somebody said that was your guardian angel.
Yeah.
And so as not to frighten you, had actually dressed as
appeared as
you.
you. Yeah.
As you, yeah.
Yes.
I've never forgotten it. It was really weird. I wasn't frightened.
No.
I was really relaxed. But but the way he did it, smiled, you know. He said, you look as if you've got the world of worries on your shoulders.
Yeah.
For such a young man. But that's sort of reassuring. It'll pass. It'll pass. And it's something went into here, which sort of, I don't know what it was. But I never forgot it.
See.
Yes. Now we've got
let me have a DJ saying there's a movie about Ball Rectory free to view, I believe. I'll have to look for that.
Oh, that's interesting.
A documentary or an actual film. Because either of them would be good. Baby with a laser says, and a floating brick in the pics in the book. Yes, that's true. And like the Cavalier I told you and Deb H about, I covered that in one of my shows, actually. Darren's story about his friend and a cavalier walked through the living room while they were all watching telly. Random.
Really?
Yeah. Strode through the living room. He had quite an angry look on his face, apparently.
How
Probably
weird.
didn't like people sat there watching the telly in his space.
Well, do you remember that bloke? What was his name on Most Haunted, which I couldn't stand? That program was so contrived.
Derek Pecora.
Yes. Oh, what is it saying? She's looking for Dick or something.
Elizabeth searching for Dick.
Yeah. But he always used to put it on when the program. You imagine the producer saying in his ear, saying, "Okay, put it on now."
There's nothing happening now.
Nothing happening. Because I like that in Ireland. There's a tourist attraction. There's this plaque next to a lake. It says, "On this day in 93, nothing happened."
Yeah, that's Irish sense of humour. That is
Classic.
That was it, DJ. Mary loves Dick.
Mary loves Dick. That's it. Mary. Hatchie's come up with interesting one here. It says, anyone spent time in the woods on their own? I'm up for company. Scary, ain't it? I went on a midnight walk once.
Only Dane's Dyke.
Yeah. I actually went on a midnight walk and something scared the living daylights out of me because it was a bit cold and I needed to, shall we say, walk to the daisies.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'll go over there. And somebody else had the idea before me and just came back from this bush and went, I shrieked.
You're not supposed to sort of, get scared by people.
But, great bladders thought alike. I mean, one by one, because it was really cold. I think it's about this time of the year.
Oh.
It didn't work.
That's just giving me the creeps. Jojo saying, I saw the Grim Reaper standing on a mound in a graveyard and he was watching a funeral burial about 50 yards away. That's creepy. That is creepy. Chris says, Hatchie. I've always loved being in the woods on my own. In my younger days, me and a couple of mates would take disco biscuits, build a big fire, and quite often I'd wander off on my own. No. I couldn't wander off on my own in the woods.
Yes. It's strange, isn't it? Yes.
Very strange.
Well, what's this? And just to think, we are all just passing through in this life. That's true.
Yeah.
When I pee on a cold night, it's not frozen. The most unfortunate thing was the frostbite after events. Well, it's the old saying, is it? It's so cold, I saw dogs frozen to trees. That was. It's like there's a saying, freeze the balls off a brass monkey is not rude, because a brass monkey is what they put the cannonballs on, and when it was cold, they used to fall off. So there's nothing rude about it. It sounds rude, Well, I don't know. We've come near the end of the show, haven't we?
I know. I'm just looking for the outro.
Yeah, I often. So, what are you going to do? You get the new one or the old one, or you get?
The new one. We'll have the new one.
Okay.
I've got it. I shall hover there.
Well, before we go, Deb, thanks a million for coming on. And
No, thank you for having me.
And I'll give you 1 million fuck bobs. How's that?
Oh, that's lovely.
I was giving the fuck bobs. I like the expression.
Them, Chris.
Well, I've got this wallet, and hang on.
Yes,
YouTube. Yeah,
I was just saying thank you for that.
I've got a wallet, and I put the fuck bobs in this separate wallet and put it in the inside of my jacket. And I say, would you like some money, please? Would you like some money? And they go, yeah.
I'll give you a tip.
And I can see the tops of the notes. I'm thinking, bloody hell, he's going to give some money, isn't it? I said, well, yeah, made the money,
Yeah.
Right. Get it out. That look on their face of sort of thinking, oh.
I forgot to say, didn't I? On the 27th of October, which is a Sunday, 8 o'clock, I've got the premiere of my Halloween special on YouTube. So if you look for Deborah Singleton, aka B,
Hang on. When's this?
It is the 27th of October, 8 o'clock.
It's 8 o'clock.
Oh, Sally, that's unfortunate. Sally's
Oh.
not even seen a pervert while she's been out in the woods on her own. I think that's just not right.
Well,
I'm in the woods on my own every day when I walk my 3 dogs, and in the winter, quite often in the dark. I ain't ever seen nothing strange, to be honest, not even a pervert. Well, I'm sorry, but I think they need to be making more of an effort, if you ask me.
well, it's so cold today. The flashers have been jumping out in front of women and describing themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Nathan.
Thank
Now-
you, everybody, for tuning in.
Now, what I'll do, hang on a minute, on the 28th, 27th of
At 8
October,
p.m.
right, I'll plug that because
Thank
there's
you.
a few shows before then, isn't there?
Yes.
27th, right, because next week we got Dawn Lester,
Right.
and then we got somebody who I don't know, I've never seen, but has been recommended,
Ooh.
called She Bear, and it's about peace. She's a peace officer, PEACE.
Right.
She's going to talk about they know the law, they learn the law, and they're sworn in as PEACE. But
Is she
it's
American?
no, it's English idea.
Oh,
It's a
right,
British
never heard
idea,
of that
rather.
one.
And what it is that where people are going to have their houses taken by bailiffs, the bailiffs are against the law.
Right.
And they go along and they politely diffuse the situation by telling the police that they don't know what they're doing.
It's all to do
Seriously.
with things like wet signatures and stuff like that, I believe.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they sort of come out, and there's no aggression or anything like that with them. It's a very good idea because they're there to protect us.
Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah,
By the way,
that'd
this microphone is giving a funny, strange, psychological, some sort of mauve effects on my glass.
Yeah.
Right there, I'll go.
Very
It's funny.
attractive.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll work out. What's this? So, fancy hiring a weirdo for the woods, £5 an hour.
That's quite cheap, actually.
Yes. And if you want a flasher,
Don't call Chris.
don't
Don't
call
call that business.
very quickly, I work with a bloke whose auntie. Let's turn this bloody thing around. Look, it's weird. That's better. Whose auntie was a nurse during World War II, and she'd seen everything. Nothing shocked her. She's a big woman, great big woman, and he lived
Proper
around.
matron.
That's
Oh,
right,
really?
real matron, and he lived around the Elephant Castle. This is a true story, and there's lots of underpasses and that there. And he was walking along. He's only about 6 or 7 years old, holding her hand, and this flasher jumped out. And just looked him up and down and said, "Young man, if I had something as small as that, I wouldn't dare show it off." And he ran off.
Yeah.
And she was so non-phased by it, she didn't even mention it when they got home. And he said, young man. And she said, that's what she said, because nothing would shock her. What she'd seen in World War II, nothing shocked her at all. Well, she was a frontline nurse, so there's bombs dropping all around her. So, she but he never got over it. As a kid, he said it just sort of yes. And here it is. Baby the laser says, I am cheap.
I think a 5 is brilliant.
Yeah.
I
Did you put an advert in your local tobacconist? The flasher, £5 an hour. Yeah, it says peace officer.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. Yeah, sorry.
Peace officer Davy, about time. Yeah, I think there's quite a few people signed up for it. I'll probably get perverted on tomorrow just because I said that.
Let us know if you do. I'll be around to help you walk the dogs.
There was one actually in Cedars Park, and a flasher, yeah, one of the women who was in the stand in the park
complained about you.
She was walking along, just saw this flasher. Yeah, and apparently he had a screw loose, this bloke, but they caught him. They got him, and he went to court, but he never turned up. Yeah,
Very
that's,
strange. Right.
yes. So if you want to see a flash, oh no, he's probably in jail now. So you know they got to hire another one.
Somewhere.
Well, if you go to the park, you see they got it the sign there. You know, flashers 8 till 9 o'clock. Then you got another bit.
Doggers 10 till 12.
That's right. Yeah, dogging 10 to 12. Binoculars provided.
Apparently they used to do dogging down at Kirkstall Abbey car park. I never saw anything.
No. Well, you know.
It all goes on. I'm just completely oblivious, mate. It all goes on in front of me. I just, yeah.
So he said, I've heard strange, loud clanking sounds coming from the skies.
Ooh, creepy.
But that's all I've ever had that's weird. Well, you ought to live around where I live. Lots of weird.
That's all sorts of weird where Chris is. Half of it he causes, but we don't like to talk about.
Visit my house. That's weird.
Don't make me laugh. I'll
Anyway,
start coughing.
it just leaves me thanks. And if you fancy coming on again, obviously, and also on the radio show,
Yeah,
because
it's
we
been
have a
interesting.
round table, and there's too
I'm
many
interested
blokes
in
on
that.
there. We want a bit of female input
Yep.
as well,
No
and
worries.
it's very serious, of course. I mean, I don't tell any
God.
fart. I wouldn't dare tell any fart gags, would I?
Oh, no, probably not.
No. Oh, Sticks said, was it? 6
by
before, photos extra.
It's only a couple of quid extra. I might have one.
But, I walked into a docking car park, tried to rescue a cat. I was.
That set me off now. Honestly.
Who'd ever heard of dogging a few years back? I mean,
It's all these perverts nowadays, isn't it?
that's right. Well,
Can't keep it in their own bedrooms, living rooms, kitchens.
What happened? That's right. What's happened to Flasher Max? Because blokes used to have Flasher Max, didn't they?
Flasher Max with a flat cap.
Well, do you remember Spike Milligan did one? It was fantastic. He had this Flasher Max. He's going like this to women. They go, oh. He goes around. Suddenly he turns around to the camera, opens his back, and he's got a mirror hanging around his.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
What's this? That was in Loughton, Chris, and was more than 11 years ago.
No, they've been doing it that long.
Yes.
God,
Yes.
Did you life?
Do you provide the? Do you stay in there and provide the binoculars now and points, picture points? They also like to sign up. You know, take a picture from here. You know, spot the doggies. Better than bird watching, isn't it? Really, when you come to think about it, it's more interesting.
Well, there are birds involved.
No, we got here. Let's be honest. Do we take the urine out of each other's point of indefinity? Me dog like dogging Shanks's leg all round the park. Does he really? Well, I think my neighbour's dog's madly in love with my leg. I mean, my leg's had to go to rape counselling. That's how bad it is.
Is he still at it with your leg?
Oh, he's on the other one now. Yeah.
Got bored with your right one.
That's right. Yeah. Viz calls it seagulling.
Oh, you used to love Viz.
Oh, I did. It's lost it now. It was
no. It's not the same as it used to be.
The cartoonists, you know. I didn't know that Doggy was, to be honest, just shenanigans. What's this?
Reading DJ's comment.
It's some DVDs on Free Cycle, and there was a dogging video in there. It gave me, I gave it to my mate for Christmas.
Oh dear! I need to go.
Always a mine.
Yeah. I
over the
don't, yeah, I'm not going to
windscreen.
go watching doggers. I need to make myself
No.
another honey and lemon.
Well, so remember, tune in to Deb on the,
Yep.
was it 27th of October,
27th at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. And I'll give you some plugs. If you've got an advert, I'll plonk it on.
I'll send you it.
Okay, because next week we've got She-Bear.
She-Bear.
Yes, I'm a bit worried actually because I haven't
Have
met
fun.
She-Bear. I don't know what it's going to be like. So,
It'll be
but,
fine.
I hope so. She's probably a very nice person. Or it might be a he. I don't know. No, She-Bear.
Don't forget to tune in.
Yes, that's right. And I'm on Paul English show this Thursday. I'm a guest on there,
Ooh.
8 o'clock.
Yes.
And we'll be on next Sunday with Dawn Lester.
Superb.
That's very nice.
It's all going on.
Yeah.
Anyway,
hang on.
it's been lovely to see you all.
You wouldn't like Rolf Harris in the part near the children singing just
Jake the Peg.
Jake the Peg didn't. Oh my God.
No, I was doing that now, don't we?
Oh, that makes my skin creep.
Me too.
Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. This is the longest outro we've had. Thank you for joining us tonight. And as I always say, whatever happens, have a bloody good laugh.
Take care out there.
And good night.
Bye, everybody.